Mr. President.
Senator from Nebraska is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I come to the floor today to discuss the importance of trade and the Nebraskans who depend upon it. Since 1989, U.S. agricultural exports have nearly quadrupled in value. This is a direct result of our trade agreements, which have opened foreign markets to our goods. In 2014 alone, the value of U.S. agriculture exports was $152.5 billion, yielding a trade surplus of more than $43 billion. This surplus is the result of hard work by millions of American farmers and ranchers. My home state of Nebraska is leading the way in progress as a top producer and exporter of agriculture and manufacturing products. In 2013, Nebraska exported $7.3 billion in products tied to agriculture and the processing industries. By trading internationally, we're creating jobs and long-term income here at home. From farms and ranches to food processing, transportation, and manufacturing industries, countless parts of our economy rely on the flow of goods across our nation and around the world. Nebraska's governor, director of agriculture, and 22 Nebraska agriculture stakeholders echoed the necessity of these trade agreements, urging congressional leaders to quickly pass important legislation for these agreements to materialize. This point was reinforced in a recent Omaha World-Herald editorial, which noted that Nebraska producers operate on a global scale and therefore understand the economic benefit of robust free trade agreements. The U.S. Department of Agriculture estimates that every $1 billion of U.S. agricultural exports generates $1.3 billion in economic activity and supports the full-time work of approximately 6,600 Americans throughout the economy. Simply put, international trade is an essential component of opening foreign markets to U.S. agriculture and food products. The best avenues we have to open new markets, increase that productivity, and create jobs, well, that's through strong, fair, inclusive free trade agreements. With more than 95% of the world's population located outside the United States, economic growth and job creation depend on trade opportunities that allow our U.S. companies and our producers to tap into new markets to sell more American products. As we debate, the world's population continues to grow. In more and more countries, we see a growing middle class with a mounting appetite. What do they want to eat? They want high-quality meat and produce and food products from the United States of America. What a tremendous opportunity for American producers to capture new markets and reach more consumers worldwide. But these new markets cannot be developed unless the United States is at the table, and at the table negotiating for comprehensive free trade agreements that ensure producers and exporters receive that fair deal. In order to accomplish this goal, the Senate must first pass Trade Promotion Authority, or the TPA. TPA effectively combines Congress's authority to regulate foreign commerce alongside the President's authority to negotiate treaties. It reinforces the role of Congress to set negotiation priorities, and it requires the President to consult extensively with legislators throughout this entire negotiation process. Under TPA, Congress retains its authority to review and determine whether the proposed trade agreement will be implemented through an up or down vote. TPA has been granted to every president since Gerald Ford. This long-standing and proven partnership between the legislative and executive branches is essential to finalizing those free trade agreements that create countless opportunities for American enterprise. TPA will allow us to actually complete the trade negotiations that are currently underway. America is on the brink of some very ambitious and pro-growth deals. It will also provide our negotiators with the credibility that they need in order to conclude those trade agreements. Our trading partners, they must be certain that the United States is serious about its trade priorities and that we are serious about our commitments. To get the best deal, there is no doubt that our trade negotiators need this vital negotiating tool. Furthermore, as this administration negotiates the two largest regional trade agreements in history, we must position ourselves to extract the best deals possible. The Trans-Pacific Partnership, or the TPP, it includes countries such as Japan and Vietnam and Malaysia, which just have such great, tremendous opportunities for our exports. This agreement will give us greater access to the fastest growing economic region in the world. The Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership is between the European Union and the United States, which together account for nearly half of global GDP. I support the negotiations for each of these regional trade agreements. Both agreements hold enormous potential for continued progress in agricultural exports, and they will create jobs here at home. The United States has negotiated free trade agreements with 20 countries over the past 3 decades. These trading partners only represent 10% of the global economy, but they consume nearly half of the United States exports. Economic growth and American job creation would only expand under TPP, where negotiating countries represent the fastest growing economies in the world. That said, it is critical that trade agreements eliminate barriers and level the playing field for American businesses. Fair, two-way market access that eliminates tariffs is essential to any comprehensive trade agreement. Mr. President, we're in the 21st century, and our trade agreements, they should reflect 21st century principles. TPA is critical to providing our trade representatives with the necessary tools to finalize these pending negotiations, while also ensuring that the unsung heroes of the American dinner table, our farmers, our ranchers, our food processors, that they receive the greatest benefit. Nebraska's farmers and ranchers, they are global leaders and the very best at producing safe, high-quality food to feed the world. It is imperative that foreign markets are open, balanced, and that they provide a level playing field for all of our U.S. products. One of the best ways that we can do this is by expanding free trade and authorizing the TPA. Thank you, Mr. President. I encourage my colleagues to support this very important legislation. I would note the absence of a quorum.
The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Alexander.